Hello. Uh, Welcome to the Choose to Change mentoring program, where you will always be inspired, challenged, and equipped for change, success, and fulfillment in life. My name is Leon Garcia, and I am a proud member of the Choose to Change mentoring program. So, who are we, and why are we here? The Choose to Change mentoring program is a self supporting program sponsored by the Choose to Change Foundation organization, a 501c3 Christian-based nonprofit organization. We are on a mission to inspire, challenge, and equip men to become more effective fathers, husbands, and leaders in our community. So, if you are ready to change your life, then you are in the right place. Through this program, you will learn exactly where to start, strategies to keep going, and a support system to help you reach your goals. The Choose to Change mentoring program believes in two key principles of life. One, we believe in the life-changing power of God through the faith in Jesus Christ. Two, success or failure is your personal responsibility. We believe that God has already done his part and that it is your responsibility to learn to do yours. So, if you are ready, say, I am ready. And here I'm going to introduce to you our CEO of the organization, Orlando Salinas.
Great job, Leon. Did Leon do a good job or no? That's the first time he does that. Awesome, man. Guys, I want to welcome everybody for being here. It is a privilege and an honor to be before you. And I'm going to drink some coffee. And so welcome everybody. If you're watching online for the first time, welcome. Thank you for taking the time to join us. My name is Orlando, and I am the CEO and founder of the Choose to Change Foundation. And you're going to find out that our mission in life is to inspire, challenge, and equip men especially, and anybody else interested in changing their lives, especially ex-convicts and people in recovery. So we host these meetings every single Thursday at 7 p.m., where I teach everything I've learned in the last 24 years about what it really takes to change your life. This is what this program is all about. If you like what you hear today, and would like to learn more about what we do at the Choose to Change Foundation, here's how you can help, or here's where you can go. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Choose to Change Foundation YouTube. Just punch in Choose to Change Foundation. And follow us on Facebook. Again, Choose to Change. You can join our private Facebook group as well. If you go to the website, Choose to Change Foundation, you can find us there as well. And join us here every single Thursday at 7 p.m., where we're here live. And again, where you will be inspired, challenged, and equipped for life change, success, and fulfillment. So welcome everybody. So the question of the evening tonight is, where are the men? I've shared this years ago in this class. I've shared this actually all over the world, this idea, this message, and I want to share it with you. I think we have a lot of new faces, a lot of new people watching us online, and I think it's time to bring this back to the forefront, because what I teach a lot is on manhood, what it takes to be a man, what it takes to be a leader, what it takes to be a father. Because if you were like me, I didn't know how to do that. So today I want to talk about that. Where are the men? Is the question of the day. Where are the men? I actually found them. Let me just tell you really quickly where I found men. They're either too high, right? Drug addicts, alcoholics, they're either too high, they're too fly, right? They think they're all that, right? GQs, or whatever they're called nowadays, or they're in prison. That's where I found them. So I want to help you understand what I mean, or what a man is, and what I believe a man is. So, I've been on this journey for many, many years, and I'm still am. I got to the point in my life where I wanted to know what it really meant to be a man. A good man, a father, a good husband, a good leader. And the reason I started this journey was because for the first time in my life, I was confronted with this idea of what is a man. And I couldn't answer that question. Can you? If someone asks you, if your son asks you, so, Dad, what's a man? What are you going to tell him? That's a powerful question, right? I mean, if you were like me, I would like, I don't know. Have no idea. I mean, ask yourself. Ask yourself that question. When did you become a man? Who told you you were a man? Today they tell you it's a choice. Remember, right or wrong? Our society today tells you it's a choice. Well, they're right. It is a choice. Guess whose choice it is? Wild guess. Your choice. Have you ever thought about this? I mean, think about this for a minute. When did you become a man? When you were 15? When you were 16? When you smoked your first joint? When you had sex for the first time? When you got your driver's license? When did you become a man? Do you get it with your graduation? When does it happen? Isn't that a good question? Or is it just me? Does anybody think that's a good question? That's a huge question. It just shook me. Because I remember in prison asking myself, man, I want to be a man. And then the question was, well, what is a man? I used to think that being a man was because of what I was born between my legs. True story. Of course, now it's really debatable in the day and age we live today. But I used to think that. I thought because I was a hard worker. I thought because I partied and you could handle a few drinks. I thought that was a man. I really thought that. What I want to do today is this. I want to give you a perspective of manhood in our society today. Because I think that none of us think about this stuff. Or who was thinking about this today? Anybody? You were? Calmate, brother. Then you've been coming to choose to change. I want to give you a perspective of manhood. Because this is huge. Stay with me, guys. And I want to help you understand where we are as men in our society today. And let me tell you, it's not good. It's not good at all. That's why we have a mess in our society. I just had an interview today, or what do you call that when you have a meeting online? Zoom, with the juvenile system. They reached out to me. Because just like the adult prison system is full, the juvenile system is getting fuller. You know why? Because there's no fathers. So I want to give you a perspective of where we're at. Also want to give you some historical perspective, how we got here. And then I want to challenge you to the solution. Because all we need is just a few good men, right? And we can change the world. At least you can help change your neighbor, your friend, your friends. So let's start with a couple of illustrations. Where are we in our society today? Listen to this. I found this quote in a book called Raising a Modern Day Knight. Raising a Modern Day Knight. When I tell you that I was looking for answers, I'm serious. I read books on how to raise a father, how to raise a son. I'm still struggling with that. But I read this, and I thought I'd read it to you. It's a poem. Listen to the poem. The name of the poem is, What is a Man? Here's what this young man wrote. He said, what is a man? Is he someone who is strong and tall? Or is taunt and talented as he plays ball? Is he someone who is hard and rough, who smokes and drinks and swears enough? Or is he someone who chases women hard with a quest to conquer, but never dropping his guard? Or is it someone with a good business mind who gets ahead of others with his nose in the grind? Or is it someone who tries his best and never worries about the rest? Or, what is a man? Does anybody know? What does he look like? Tell me, where shall I go? Isn't that powerful? Listen to this. This is another book that I found. It's called Point Man. In this book, he talks about how we need to be the point men in our families. The point man is the guy, well, I'm not going to explain it, but it's called Point Man, the book. And we need to be point men for our families. In other words, the ones that are watching and guarding and protecting. Listen to this. He says this book, this is a little paragraph of this book. He says this book is for men. He says it's a book that talks about man and how to become an effective leader in your home. After years of research and study, he says, it is my conclusion that the effective male leader in the homes of America has gone the way of the dinosaurs. In other words, there's no men, no fathers. Some people are worried about the extinction of whales, snails, and little baby seals, which is okay. He says, but I'm more concerned about the extinction of the man figure in American homes. And the effective male leader who knows how to lead his family is really already in the endangered species list. No men. Isn't that powerful stuff? He says, in 1980, Dr. James Dobson put it this way. This is 50 years ago. Man, that's a long time. 50 years ago. He said this, the Western world, our world that we live in today, stands at a crossroads. In our history, he says, and it is my opinion, and I agree with him, that a great crossroad is, and it is my opinion, that the very survival as people will depend on the absence or the presence of the masculine leadership in American homes. And that's exactly what's happening in our society today. Our kids are being destroyed because there's no father. So that's what I want to talk about today. So how do we get here? See, I asked these questions because I had a father, but he was a father that's, what I'm about to read to you was kind of like a distant father. I looked all this up. I've been researching here lately, and this guy I saw on a TED Talk, he was talking about different kinds of fathers, because many of us suffered the pain of fatherlessness. We just all had a different, went through different things. What is that word I'm looking for? Experience. We all had a different experience. There was different kinds of fatherlessness, different kinds of absent fathers. Some of our fathers were drug addicts. Some of our fathers were just workers and were never home. Some of our fathers just were not there. You all get that? We just had a different experience. Some of us were abused. This is serious issues. And this is why we are here today. But let me give you some historical perspective on manhood and fatherhood. It's always been the man taking care of the family since the beginning of time. Could you agree to that? That's how, in case you didn't know that, that's how it's always been. Since the creation of man, the father was always the leader and the protector of the family. It's designed that way. It doesn't matter what you believe or what you think. That's just how it is. The Bible teaches that. And for years and years and years, the man worked in the field, took care of their family, and went to church. But something happened here in about 200 years that shifted everything, especially here in America. When I read this, I said, wow, this is powerful. And one of the first historical events that happened was the Industrial Revolution. Who's ever heard of that? That's when steel was invented, back in the late 1800s, or the late 1800s. And this is where so many people, America was being born. The industrial world made a lot of people very rich. It also created a lot of different jobs. So now the father was no longer working in the fields, taking care of his family, hand in hand with his son. Now the father went out of the house to work. So now he was going away to work, and what that did, as the years passed by, it created something what this man called a distant dad. In other words, he was away now. He had to go to work outside of his house. And that just separated, started separating the fathers from the home. That was the first, and that happened for years, and little by little, the father was separated from the home because businesses started growing, and people started going to the factories to work. And then something happened in the 1930s and 40s. The second historical event. Not yet, but that's one of them. World War II. What this did, World War II, what that did is it literally took men out of the family. And they went to war. And because of these men back then is why we became such a great nation. Because men went and fought for the country. Let me read it to you. World War II changed a whole generation of men and created a what he's called disconnected fathers. The disconnected fathers were the fathers that are there, but they're not there. Many of us had those kind of fathers. He said, this is a book. There is a book by John Brokaw called The Greatest Generation. In this book, he talks about how young men gave up their youth to go to war and became even more disconnected from the family. But because they did that, many young men died for the freedom of this country, and because of them, we now have the privilege of having a voice heard, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom to have our own businesses, freedom to live in America, to live a dream of your own. Yes, they did become the greatest generation and make this country great and free, but it didn't do too good for the family. What worked well for these men at war didn't work well for them at home. See, for many ex-convicts, what worked well for us in the penitentiary doesn't work well in the home. I learned that. What worked well for you in the streets doesn't work well in the family. Disconnected dads. Let me tell you the last thing that happened in our society. This happened in the 70s. And why we have what we have today. It was called feminism. Women's lib. We live in a world of gender identity crisis. Feminism originally started with a good intention of giving women equality in our society. And for good reason. Women are some of the they are the greatest asset to us. Great mothers. And for good reason, he says, because men and women are equally important. Who agrees to that? They're equally important. Listen to this. But not like our society is telling us today. Men and women are equal. They're not the same. Who agrees to that one? We're not the same. Each one of us have this different role to play. The pursuit with equality became a pursuit of sameness. And that's not good. You have a role of a man and you have a role of a woman. That's how it works, right? That's how it's supposed to work. As men, we are not sure of our roles anymore. In fact, there is even a question in our society. Listen to this. Questioning even if men have a role. Let me put it to you like this. What happened is that we dropped the ball as men. And as Christians, as spiritual believers, as faith believers, we believe that it's the enemy, Satan, is destroying our families by getting to us men. Because we're the last ones. The women are the last ones to let go of their families. We're the ones that let go. In today's society, the role of man has been distorted more than ever before. The line of man versus women is blurred. Are y'all getting this? It's blurred. We don't know how to act anymore as men. We don't know what exactly our role is in society. And YouTube and Facebook and Trick It and Click It and what else is there out there? They're not helping much at all. All of us have formed this idea in our mind of what a man is based on how we were brought up, what we were taught by our mom, right? Because many of us were raised by our mom. Or yet worse, like many of us came up in a broken family, and the only heroes we ever saw was, for me, it was Batman and Superman and Incredible Hulk. Whose was yours? But today's society, you ought to see what they look up to. You're worse, man. The uniqueness of man and us as men is not even in society's conversation. But you know what? It's starting to be. And I want to be one of them that started to bring back to the forefront of manhood. Our church has to rise up. Men have to rise up. Men have to take charge. Not conquer and destroy. Just take charge. Take care of your family. Take care of your wife. Take care of your children. That's what we're supposed to be doing. But we don't want to do that. And our kids are learning that they don't have to do that. And I'm trying to teach them, yes, you do. You have to do that. This is how this stuff works. Otherwise, you won't have a life or society to go to. So let's close with a solution. What time is it? 7:30. What is the solution? You are. That's right. You are. And this is what we do here at the Choose to Change Foundation. I want to challenge you tonight, this evening, to become the man that we have been called to be. What do I mean by that? Very simple. A father, a husband, and a leader. That's it. Our society is pulling us a whole different direction. But that's not how it's designed. Not what I believe. You don't have to take what I believe, but let me tell you what the scripture says. I came across this scripture, very familiar, 1 Corinthians 13:11, talking about the solution for manhood. and how to become a man. When I was a child, I spoke as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. This is scripture. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. The question I want to answer today is, what are childish things? Let me just put it to you very frankly. We just need to man up, right? What does that mean? We need to grow up. Well, what does that mean? Let's put it into perspective. I did a ceremony for my son, where I've been challenging him. I've been challenging my son for years about what a man is. I wonder if he still remembers. Do you still remember, son? What a man is? And I told him, this is what it is, son. Take it or leave it. I'm telling you, this is what it is. I want to give it to you today. Because being male is a matter of birth. But being a man is a matter of choice. I had this, I want to put up this definition of manhood. And I want to put it up there in case you want to read it, in case you want to write it down. But in fact, you don't have to write it down. I'm going to give it to you. So stay with me as we close. Remember, my question was, what is a man? The best definition I've been able to come up with, based on my research, and if you come up with a better one, you let me know, is this right here. A man is someone born male. You have to be born male. You can't be operated. You have to be born male. And you need to, someone who rejects passivity, accepts responsibility, leads courageously, and lives with the expectation of a greater reward. That's what a man is. So I'm going to break that down in the next couple of weeks, months maybe, what exactly that means, but let me break it down for you basically what it means. Rejects passivity means stop being lazy. And that can mean a lot of things, you know. Lazy with our family, lazy with our health, lazy with our work, lazy at home, lazy wherever it is that we're lazy at. We need to stop being lazy. That's what it means, reject passivity. Accept responsibility means taking 100% responsibility for your life. Stop blaming people. Stop blaming. Take responsibility, even if it's not your fault. Even if you didn't have a father. Even if it's all their fault. Take responsibility for your life. Lead courageously. Don't be afraid to take control of your life. Because if you don't take control of your life, right, somebody else will. And then living with the expectation of a greater reward was the hardest one for me to understand. Listen closely to this. Living with the expectation of a greater reward was the hardest for me to understand. Until I held my first grandbaby. Until I held my first grandbaby. And what that did for me is it took me back 20-something years ago when I made a decision. I'm going to change my life. I'm going to change my life. Nobody believed in me. Nobody forced me. Nobody told me it was going to be easy or how to do it. Nobody. I just made a decision. And I cried out to God. And I said, help me, God. Because I want to change my life. I don't want to be a loser no more. I was 30-something years old. Still living with my mom. With my two daughters. I'm telling you, I was a loser father, loser husband, loser drug addict, but I made a decision that I wanted to be a man. And it was the hardest thing I ever had to do. And then I learned this, living with the expectation of a greater reward. I learned that in prison. What does that mean? Living with the expectation of a greater reward. Until I held my first grandson. I understood what living with the expectation of a greater reward meant. See, because men, we're used to living for you. You're used to living for you and what's good for you and what you want and what you feels good for you. What about your family? What about your future children? What about them? We don't think about that, right? But we're supposed to. So now let me tell you what I mean by that. Grow up, man up, become a man. Let me tell you, when I was a man, when I was a child, I thought of the child, I understood as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. What I want to help you understand right now is what are those childish things we need to give up? So when I heard this, I got a revelation. I want to give it to you. I hope you get the same revelation I got. In order for you to understand what a man is, you first have to understand what a child is, right? We got one here. Where's Ben? Let me, he'll be our example. Ben, come here, Ben. Come here, Ben. This is a child right here. Look at him. Come on, boy. There you go. Come on. This is a child right here. Come on, give me that ball. Come on, go. That's a child right there. I don't want to play no more, Ben. It's a child. See, now there's a child, I'm telling you. He can have a fit. You can have a fit. If you're two. Yeah. See? Go get it, Ben. So let's understand what a child is, yeah? Let me give you a couple of examples. There you go. There's one. Come on, brother. 10. There you go. So let me give you a couple of examples. A child is self-centered. The center of his own life. Right? Can you see? Can you tell? The center of his own life. He don't care what you're thinking right now. He wants to play ball. He's the center of his own life. A child is deceitful and manipulative. Did you know that? I didn't know that. I thought they were so cute. And they are. But they lie. Did you know that? True story. Did you take the candy? Are you sure? Todo el candy aquí, todo embarrado. They lie. They're manipulative. They're kids. A child will have a fit if he doesn't have his way. Right? You ever seen them in Walmart? Have a fit. I want this candy. I want this car. And they have a fit. I've seen them, right? And I'm wondering, no, but you're not supposed to hit kids. You're supposed to spank them. Una palita así. Oh, pero not mijito, right? They'll have a fit if they don't have their way. Check this one. A child always wants to play. Right? Look at him. ¿Quién le hace caso? A child will pick up his ball and go home if you don't play his game. And here's the last one. Get ready for this. Because I got a revelation in this. And by the way, I heard this in prison. A child only responds to concrete authority. I shared this in the prison last Monday. A child only responds to concrete authority. In other words, when Rudy says, Ben, right? He's going to respond. I asked this question in prison. I said, who's ever been arrested? Everybody rolls their hand. I said, oh man, I should have answered that question. Let me ask here. Who's ever been arrested? When I got arrested for aggravated robbery, when I went to prison, man, I was out of control. I remember they tried to get me and I ran. Right? I ran. I said, man, I'm going to run. Just like that boy. And they threw this stick at me. Boom, boom, boom. And before I knew it, I had 3 or 4 guys on me. And I was struggling. And they put the handcuffs on me. Boom. You know what that's called? Concrete authority. I remember I heard that. And at the time, I was living in a 8x10 concrete cell with bars in the front. And for the first time in my life, I realized I've been a child all my adult years. And I could only respond to concrete authority. And it worked. I'm here. We have to grow up. We have to become men of God, I recommend. I come up with a few more illustrations of what a child is. You want to hear them? It's my own. You sure you want to hear them? You won't get offended? A child doesn't have a job. He doesn't want to work. Listen to this one. A child always blames everyone else. The blame game. Listen to this one. A child depends on mom and dad for cigarette money. Oh, no, it gets worse. Check this one out. A child depends on mom and dad for gas money. A child depends on mom and dad for rent money. Let me put it to you like this. I have seen with my own eyes, work with many men, 2-year-olds, in 20, 30, 40, and 50-year-old bodies. Did you get that? Why? Because they never chose to be a man. So I want to give you what I gave my son when he was 13. I told him, this is a guide, son. This is something to shoot for. This is something to aim for. And I want to give it to you. And I'm going to ask you to consider this. To consider embracing this idea of manhood. Because this is what I teach, this is what I believe, and this is what we need in our society today. And it says like this. This is literally what I gave my son. It's even signed there. He said, as the Bible says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Who's ever despised wisdom and instruction? Yep. Being male is a matter of birth. Being a man is a matter of choice. And it gives you the definition of the manhood that I had up there. And then I give 10 things that a man is supposed to do. Very clearly, very simple. And I'm going to ask you to take that. You sign it. You put it on your wall, or wherever you want to put it, or throw it in the trash. Whatever you decide to do with it, I'm giving you something to work with. A man has a job, he works. A man will love and seek the Lord his God, Jesus Christ. A man is a father, husband, leader. A man loves, protects, and respects his wife, prays for her, talks to her, and listens to her. A man loves, by the way, I didn't tell you this is easy. I'm not saying this is easy. I'm saying this is what I need, what we need. Number 10, a man leads by example, makes no excuses, and never gives up. Number 11, a man takes full responsibility for all his actions and learns to deal with whatever unexpected problems or circumstances life throws at you. Because trust me, life is going to throw some big ones at you. And number 12 is the one that I want you to keep in mind. That a man is a lifelong learner of life. We're all learning. We're all growing. And we have to keep on learning and keep on growing. I presented this to my son on November 2nd, his birthday, 13th birthday. And I told him, welcome to manhood training. So men, welcome to manhood training. Yeah? Awesome. So anybody learn anything today? Anybody have any questions? As we close, no questions? So then let's take a choose a change moment. As I ask people we have people watching us tonight? Awesome. Why don't I bring a couple of cups over here, please? So I want to start doing what I call a choose a change moment. This is where I ask people to support us in what we do. Because we're doing a lot of great things. In December, I'm raising money for our organization. So I'm going to have some cups. I really like this one. Look at this one. Choose the change. Yeah. Mira este? Man, look at this one. Look good. I think black is better, no? Don't y'all think? You can put them over there on the table. Put them on the table. And I think those blue ones, so those blue ones right there, those right there, put them on the table right there. Put them on the table. Those blue ones are going to go for $5. The smaller ones like that are going to go for $20. And then there's a big one, I think. It's going to go for $25 or something. But these are just things I'm starting to do to raise money. Listen, men. I am going to start raising money for, check this out, for scholarships, for something I call the 10 Talent Award. Because at the end of the year, I'm going to be giving people from the Choose the Change organization, depending on what you've done with your life, awards, to show people that people are changing their lives. At the end of the year, we're going to have a presentation, a dinner for our organization to raise money. I'm going to go into the prisons. I want to take books into the prison. I want to give them out. This is what our organization is doing. We're helping people get started on a new life. I don't know if you guys, I've talking to so many men that, I can say Chavarria, I can say Mark, I can say Leon or Juan Peña, CJ, that there's a place where you could come, right? Where you found some inspiration, some hope. This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. I don't change you. I just give you some information, some inspiration, some direction, and then God does the rest. Because you have a whole community of people here, right? You just came to our church last night, Carlos, right? A whole church, and it's like this all over the world for us that are in this church. I have friends all over the world. Can you believe that? All because I started in a prison cell to choose. And this is what we're raising money for. To help make people make a decision in prison before they get out. How many of you have been in prison here? Almost all of you, right? How many know that if you start in there, you have a much better chance to make it out here? Would you agree? Yes. Okay, that's what I'm doing. I'm taking this in here that I'm teaching in this meeting, and I'm taking it to the prison. And starting next month, I'm going to do every month, I'm going to do a seminar. I'm going to do a 6-hour seminar of everything I teach here. You think that would help the men? Yeah. When they get out? That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm raising money for. I want to give them my book. I want to give them personal development books. I want to give them that leadership book so people can start learning. Because why do I want to help ex-convicts? Because of that little boy that's running around. Where is he? Ben. Come here. Come here, Ben. Look at this guy. This guy has a father. Huh? This guy has a father. And the men in the prison, they have children. See, but I was so selfish. I was so self-centered. I was so that I didn't see that. Did you? Did you see your suffering wife, mother, children? We don't see that. But this is why I do what I do. Because it's a choice. And I'm going to challenge you to choose to believe in the impossible. For your life, your kids, and your family. You know this? A child. He just wants to play. So guys, I hope I helped you today. I hope you decide to keep on coming. That wasn't too hard on you. Did you know I was told I was too hard on men? Man, you're too hard, man. But I have an answer to that. You all want to hear it? Who do you want me to be hard on? Ben? You want me to be hard on Ben? Stop being such a child. Is that what we want? Is that what we want to do? You see how crazy that is? No, I gotta be hard on you. The man. Because if nobody challenges you, then who? And if you don't change your life, why? We answer that question next week. What makes it so hard? What has to change? It's everything I teach. Where are the men? So if you want to donate and you're watching us, you can go to the Choose to Change Foundation, donate there. Also, I'm going to ask everybody to tell somebody to follow us. Go like us on YouTube. That's a huge help. Like us on Facebook. That's a huge help. Your friends, your family, your mother, your sister, your brother. Just say, hey, this is the class I'm going to. Check it out. Like them. You can give at the Choose to Change Foundation. Just click on the donate button. And what else? And I think I said it all. Anything else? Am I missing anything? That's all I have tonight, guys. Thank you. Thanks again. We'll see you next week. Yeah, it's not bad.